Okay, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to wrap a wall with a 3M IJ40C. And what it is a control tack. So it looks harder than it is, so I'm kind of showing you I'm going to walk you through this. First thing I like to do is I like to clean the walls real good with rubbing alcohol and water or invisible glass cleaner and a lint-free rag. Get it all nice and clean and everything. The next thing I like to do is we have a Squeegees in hand built in the store, and this is one of the architectural film squeegees. But the reason why I like to use it is because it's hard but soft. It's not like a 5-in-1 or metal scraper. It's like a plastic scraper. So what I like to do, I like to get all the little high boys off and make sure it's nice, no little nuggets on the wall, and I fill everything and making sure it's all nice and as level as possible. There's two different options you can do this. Before we install the wrap, make sure that the wall paint has been dried or cured for more than 2 weeks, and I know this has been a while. And another thing I like to do is I like to use Zinsser guards, and we'll put them down below in the description. But the Zinsser guards is basically a clear coat, but it's like a plasticky substance. And so when you install it or when you roll it on, you leave it, come the next day, and then what it does is it cures the wall better. So if you need to lift this up, it doesn't damage the skin of the wall. But this is what I do. Okay, so the next one I do, as you can see right here, the laser guide. So I measure the width of this right here. So we usually add 1 inch or 2 bleed going this way and this way. And so we have an overlap of 1 inch over here. So I measured this right here for the edge of this and go right here. So this is the next thing what I like to do, and then go from there. Now with the IJ40C, what I like about it, you can remove the whole backing, and it's only tacky where you push it. And then I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So when you're doing the double, when you install one section and then you install the next section, you always overlap it at least a 1/2 inch overlap to 1 inch. And that's when you see when you see wall graphics, it's always overlapping. You don't want to do a double cut, and because during time the vinyl does shrink a little bit, so you don't want to see that little sliver. So that's the reason why you overcut it or overlap it. So now, again, the first time I've done this, I was a little nervous installing this, and the best way, I know it's a tight area, the best thing to do is, believe it or not, is to remove all the backing. Now, usually Devin's with me, and I don't have Devin with me today. He's at the office. He's doing the office stuff right now, and this is such a small job that I can do it myself. Not a big deal. So what I like to do is I'm just going to tack it up right here, just enough to tack it on, and I'm just going to pull it all the way off because it is just easier, believe it or not, to install it with no backing. Sorry, it's loud. Okay, now what I like to do, so like I said before, is the IJ40C is it only tack to the surface where I touched it right up here. So right now it's kind of like on a static clean kind of feel. There it is. Boy, it is staticky. You can see how staticky it is right now. Okay, so normally it's not just staticky. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have at least a 1/2 inch bleed going up onto the ceiling, and then I'm just going to tack it on here, there, and then here. Okay? Okay. So now it's tacked on top and also tacked on the, I'm going to just kind of line it up right here. I'm going to tack it on right here. There we go. Now it's straight up and down. There you go. Now you take your squeegee. I like to go in the middle, so it's I'm tacking it on. And I'm not pushing very hard. I'm just pushing enough to get it on there. And get the air bubbles out. And again, you think it's like nerve-wracking, but it is actually, it's easier when you think. Get the air bubbles out. And just kind of lay it on there. Now there's a slight texture to this right here. It's called Sun Valley texture. There's all kinds of names for it. So it's little indentations every once in a while, but it is pretty smooth. What we call level 4 smoothness of the wall. Okay. So I'm just now going like that here. Try to get all the air bubbles out. And if you need to, you can actually pull this up and make it relax. That's the purpose of making it relax. Still kind of level. Get the creases out, and then another thing is what I like about the IJ40C is later down the road you can remove this, and the chances of wall damage is very minimum. I mean, it's tacky, but it's not tacky. Okay, that's the first panel. Now the second panel is a little more challenging. Especially if you're doing, well, if we're installing door wraps, or actually wall wraps, long left and right hand door wraps, you gotta get it perfect on here. So that's what we're gonna be doing. But this is such a small wrap that it could be perfect, but not perfect. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull the backing off, same thing. And I know it seems kind of scary to remove all this, but it's just fine. Again, if you have one pair or two pairs of hands, that'd be great too, because it's easier just to have one person hold this like this, the other person just pull the backing out. Sorry if it's loud. Okay. Now, so the reason why I like to pull the backing out because it's stiff, and so it's hard for me to go around this corner. Sorry, it's loud. Okay. Now it's pretty stacky. I don't know if you can hear that staticky. Never came across this before. It is really staticky. So right now what I'm doing is I'm lining up the top part of the end. I'm tacking it on just where that top part of it, I'm just tacking it right there and there. I'm letting this kind of hang on right there. Okay, so now trying to get in the line of the, it's off to like a little slight bit. Okay, I'm just tacking on there. So now I'm lining everything. Tack right here. So where the Y is, I'm just pushing a little tack right there. Now I'm going to pull this taunt. And that's the beauty of, so make sure everything is all lined up. Circles lined up. The C's off a little bit. So that's the beauty of this. And usually on this one, we usually have a 1 inch gap. Okay, there. I like to take my time on this one. I just want to get it right the first time. I'm just kind of showing you how we work. I want to make sure everything is lined up. So I'm just barely tacking on, making sure all this is all lined up before I tack it all on. D's there, there's lined up. Okay, so now it's tacked on this side. I'm going to pull a taunt going this way. And what you can do is you can start going this way if you want. Sometimes I'm showing you a couple of ways that I'd normally do it. Boy, it is really staticky. So if you want to hire us to do this, do wall wraps, usually we only do wall wraps in Idaho. We're in the Boise, Idaho area. But if you feel confident in doing this, or you're a graphic designer and if you just want the prints, we can print it out for you and let us know, give us the printable files and we can print it out, ship it out to you guys and you guys to install it. This is, again, it looks hard and scary. And again, yes, when I first started doing this, my heart was pounding, my adrenaline was going because I didn't want to screw this up. But after doing a few of them, you get the understanding the vinyl much better. Again, this is 3M. This is a control tack, that's what it's called, and it's great. There's a couple of vinyls materials that we use for walls. It's this one right here. It's a 3M40C, and then also 180C, and that's basically made for car wraps. But it's the same kind of material, a little bit thinner, a little bit better to work with for lining up areas that need to be hardcore lined up. But the 40 does an awesome job too. And every once in a while, we use what's called phototext material. It's a canvas-like material with a sticky note glue to it, and it is pretty big over in UK. But more and more people are using it for wallpaper. You don't have to use any glue. It just comes with everything. And if you screw up a little bit when you're installing it, you can actually pull it off and reapply it several times. We do these for door wraps too, the phototext material. So that's designed for basically for rentals or kids' rooms or something that you don't have to worry about damaging the surface of the door. Also, it goes great over panel doors. The phototext does. Okay, almost all done. I'm just making sure I'm not filling any air bubbles in there. What I like to do next is I like to use my heat gun. It's called post heating. So what it does, it makes the vinyl sink in a little bit more into the crevices, I call it Sun Valley texture, and it sinks it in even more. Okay, I'm just shoving all the vinyl in there. Now on the architectural film squeegee, this is designed, it's 1/8 inch thick. It's designed to cut on the edges, the top part right here, so it's nice and clean. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. So the reason why it's all smooth, because you can put it right here and move it up and down, and it stays consistent. So let me kind of briefly show you what that does. And I'm just kind of using it as a guide. It's a tool that I use all the time on job sites. It's a great little tool. That's the reason why I designed it. And we make it in-house. So this is actually a perfect 1/8 inch going on this wall right here. Nice, clean looking cuts. And what it does, it forces the vinyl towards the, well, this one's towards the ceiling, but towards the wall. And that's it. Next I'll do a post heat. Use a heat gun, but that's how RM Wraps does walls. We use the IJ40C or the 180, and it's just much better, easier to install. Again, if you want this kind of wall wraps, let us know. We can get more information and kind of go from there. Okay, my name is Randy Miller. If you call us 208-696-1180, info@rmwraps.com. Devin or me will help you with any comments, questions, or concerns. And if you want to do those walls, you can. We have little samples if you want, and we can send you those samples, and you can test it, play around with it, and say, yeah, I think I can do this. But again, it's not too hard. Just remember, on this one, you got to tack it there, and then move it up here, and then kind of go that way. But that's kind of how I do it. So stay tuned. We've got more projects and products coming your way. Enjoy the videos, and come back and check out more stuff.